Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, thank for your presentation. Yeah. Uh, before I, before I start to comment on your proposals, I'd like to comment on your presentation. Yeah. Basically, it is okay, but your slide, as I told you before, the slide should not be like this. Yeah. Like here, like this. You show, I mean, this kind of the paragraphs. Yeah. Meanwhile, if you are writing your slides, it's only contain the pointers. Yeah. Not the paragraph like this. Yeah. Only the important things. For example, what do you want to say in, I mean, what did you write in your introduction? What did you talk in your introduction? Can you give me example?
So in the introduction or background, I would like to first I would like to mention that after the pandemic, the use of technology such as digital platform is mainly used by students, and then it became the
Okay, something
habits.
like this, yeah. So the idea is, for example, the increased use of digital
Technology.
platform after pandemic, like this, yeah. I mean, you have to be able to find the expression or the words, yeah, phrases describing the idea that you really want to say in your background. It's not, putting all things in your slides. Yeah. Something like this terminology is also this too much because it is very hard to to see. It's actually only self-directed learning, yeah, and learning English as foreign language, digital platform, and then you have perhaps only few words here just to help you explaining what you mean by self-directed learning, not copy paste, yeah, this expression or this explanation from your paper. Now, literature review, like something like this is okay actually. So, literature review, only one or two pages slide. I think that's more than enough. Not like this once again, yeah. So you have to put the keywords, yeah, instead of the paragraphs in your slide. All right, now we come to your proposal now. Narrative inquiry of student self-directed learning. What do you really want to find out from your research projects? What do you want to find out?
So I have several reasons why I think I interested in take this topic. First, because the digital era and the present of
Oh,
various
just answer
methods.
my question.
uh,
What you want to find out from your research?
I would like to find out the story, or the story that includes the experience uh, of participant using the digital platform, how they use, how they perceive the digital platform that can help the participant in improving their English skill.
So you want to know what activities, yeah, what activities the student do, yeah, in learning English using digital platform. Is that?
Yes, sir.
So you are going to ask about their activities
Yeah.
beyond classroom,
Yes, sir.
because that's self-directed learning. So the activities that are not, designed by the teacher.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it is kind of self motivation activities. You have to be able to find out from the activities that the student do when they are learning English using digital platform. You have to find out which of those activities are really from self motivation, yeah, self directed learning. So, not all activities. If the activities are, for example, assigned by the lecturers or by the teachers, so that's beyond your research projects, because you are not investigating the activities asked by the teachers. Rather, you are investigating what activities the student do because they like to do it, because of they want to. I mean, because they are self-directed in in their own learning. Okay. Now, I think that's important that you understand that's one. So then you can limit, yeah, the scope of your research. This is self-directed learning. This is not whatever learning, yeah. I mean, this is not every single learning activities that the student do. You only focus on self-directed learning. Okay. Now, um, if you talk about COVID, I think that's too far away. Yeah. Now, people, I mean, the student want to, if the student are using a digital platform, I think right now it is not really because of the COVID pandemic. Yeah. Because perhaps it is more because of the availability of the technology, the attractiveness of the technology and the digital platforms. So I think better to start from, for example, that the technology is now very accessible, so it is very easy to access. You can mention COVID, of course. Yeah, perhaps just the starting point, the start the starting point. Yeah, when you, for example, want to talk that the very big increase, or perhaps even the very big difference between before and after COVID-19. But imagine if COVID 19 did not happen, we still believe that the technology still move, forward until today with the very, massive, yeah, um, availability. Yeah, it's everywhere. Usually, because we call it ubiquitous, omnipresent, ya. Ubiquitous artinya itu ada di mana-mana, uh, kapan saja, itulah ubiquitous. Nah, teknologi ubiquity. Okay, now that's the starting ideas perhaps, and the second one you can also the need, yeah. You can also explain the needs to have the ability to self-direct our own learning because outside the classroom there are so many attractive activities or the technology is so tempting, so addicting, ya, sangat membuat kita itu apa ya, I don't know, addicting apa, ter I forgot jadinya. Addicting ya pokoknya that's you really want to kecanduan. Sorry, thank you. Nah, membuat kita kecanduan. Nah, to technology make us addicting, addicted, ya, to become addicted. Now, in the middle of that situation, it is very important. Ini mungkin at the end of your introduction, you need to highlight that one. It is very important that the student have the quality of self-directed learning, the quality of good motivation in learning. Because usually when you are in rich environment you forget to learn, yeah, because you like to get only the entertainment, yeah, the entertainment. So now you can, we you highlight that the student need to have that quality, the self-directed learning capability. Therefore, your research is focusing on that one. Gitu kira-kira. This is the way how you, frame or shape your introduction into that point. Um, I think your research question are fine, yeah, are okay. Number two, number one, you start from questioning what kind of digital resources that the student uh, engage. But because your title is digital platform, I think you have to be consistent. Resources is not the same as um, platform. Yeah. So perhaps what types of digital platform, not resources or platforms. Yeah. What type of digital platforms do the student, not a student, do the student find most effective in facilitating or find most useful perhaps, yeah. Effective is relating to usually to uh, a statistical calculation. So perhaps what type of digital platform do students find most useful? Not most useful, perhaps useful, yeah, not without most. Find useful in facilitating self-directed English language learning. Now, in your research, is not only focusing on the most, but anything, yeah, that the student feel it is useful. And the second question: how does the student engage? How does the student engage in self-directed learning? So you want to know the activities, how the student really involved in the the activities, yeah, self-directed learning activities. Okay, yes, that's good. And later, perhaps in the real, when you are doing your real investigation, you need to have more question here, particularly about self-directed learning. You have to break down, yeah, um, what's activities uh, involved in self-directed learning. For example, the activity of planning, perhaps the activity to have to choose the strategies, or the activities to execute the planning, and so on and so on, like that. So you can have sub question, yeah, I mean, you can have other question in order to be more specific in this definition. Yeah, but for the time being, I think these two questions are okay. All right, so I skip this one as usual. I don't want to talk about that one right now. The scope research, wait a minute, terminology. Uh, Actually, you don't. You can talk about the scope of research, but this in this section you need to explain about what will be included and what will be excluded, yeah, in your investigation. Like what I said at the beginning, that your investigation only focus on activities activities that involve technology, and the activities that are not required by teachers. Yeah, because this is self-directed, meaning that the activities is initiated by the student independently, without any person asking them to do it, to do the activities. Now that's the scope. So if, for example, the activities are related to subjects, yeah, that's beyond of our investigation because of the definition or the word self-directed learning. All right. So narrative inquiries of the now this is okay. Digital platform is system infrastructure. I think you need to be direct here. What do you mean by digital platforms? Yeah. Don't, I mean, the definition don't go too much theoretical. The digital platform, you can say like this, for example, yeah, any activities that is related to the use of mobile phone, for example, and the use of uh, electronic media, yeah, like computers, yeah, or pad, yeah, and the likes, yeah. So that's digital platform. So it does not go to a specific application. It is really any application. Yeah, as far as they involve in or using the digital platform, or here I mean the computers or the gadgets, yeah, then we consider this as digital platform. Okay, literature review, learning language as a foreign language. Okay, I think you can start from that one because your topic is about language learning, and then it should go not language skills, but you should go to language learning strategies, because when you want to know self-directed learning, it belongs to language learning strategies. Here, Oxford, you mentioned Oxford's this. Let's Now here, yeah, the second should be this, yeah, language learning strategies. What are they? What are the language learning strategies according to Oxford? Do you know? You don't mention anything here. Mana Cantika?
According to Oxford 2017, language learning strategies refer to specific action, behavior, step, or technique used by learners to enhance their progress in developing skill in a second or foreign language.
Yeah, I mean, Oxford actually divide the strategies into several strategies. Why don't you, I mean, here um, explore that one? For example, cognitive strategies, metacognitive strategies, something like that. Because we
If
want to identify later, yeah, what kind of strategies they use. Yeah.
I explain in language learning strategies with technology, sir, I put the explanation
Okay.
in.
This Mana, where are they? Here you just mentioned cognitive. What are what are they? The strategies, metacognitive process. What else?
Like apart from cognitive and metacognitive benefits, the use of technology in learning strategies can also provide social affective benefits. A study by Melvin et al.
Yeah, meaning that you have to define, or at least you have to clearly explain what you mean by cognitive strategies, yeah, metacognitive strategies, and here social affective strategies, and so on. Yeah. Um, and more important, or also important, to give the real example. Yeah? For example, if you mention a cognitive strategies, can you give example cognitive strategies? What kind of activity do the student do? Yeah, and it is called cognitive strategy. Do you know that?
Wait, sir. In my research, I said, for example, vocabulary development and mastery of grammatical structure through the use of application that present new vocabulary with picture, animation, or definition, or games that help
What
learn.
page there? What page?
Page number 14, sir.
14 here.
15, sir. 15, sir.
15.
A study.
Vocabulary development mastery, grammatical structure through the use of application. A cognitive strategy is not. I mean, when we talk about strategy, actually we are not talking about the content or the material that the student working, yeah, with, but more on what the student are doing. Yeah, not because, for example, vocabulary development and mastery grammatical structure, the use of application that present new vocabulary with picture, animation, or definition, as well as games that have. So you mean that if the student are playing the game, for example, grammar game, so do you mean that this is part of the cognitive strategies?
Yes, sir, because
What
they.
about metacognitive strategies and social affective strategies? Yeah. Now, I mean, you don't have to answer now. At least you have to highlight that one. So this is very important that you understand that concepts, because later you are doing your investigation or data collection, you are going to use interview for your tools, for example, or techniques of data collection, then your interview should goes to uncover or dig more about the cognitive, metacognitive, social affective strategies. Yeah. Because we want to, I think it will be very helpful if you understand those concepts, and then in your what's the conversation with people, then you are going to use that one, that definition or that understanding. And then, okay, the sub directed learning, I think it's okay as far as you understand how self-directed learning process ya goes. Di sini ada sih, nah, sini kan self-directed learning as a process, self-directed learning as individual attribute, and so on. I hope that you know that one because that's really become the central focus of your investigation later. Now, this is the what you call it, your methodology, natural inquiry, is it?
Narrative inquiry, sir.
Huh? Narrative, sorry, narrative inquiry of student self-directed learning. Yeah. Now, narrative is kind of a method, so you need to really understand how you investigate. Yeah, as a form of narrative inquiry. Do you know? I mean, can you explain a little bit? If you are doing narrative inquiry, so what are you going to do in your research?
So I will collect the experience, the story of participant that includes their experience activities through the data collection such as interview or observation and document.
Oh, wait a minute. So now you are doing narrative inquiry. Okay. Now, as a researcher, so what are you going to do as researcher? You are going to, for example, interview the students.
Yes, sir. Interview the participant.
How are you going to interview them? What kind of question? If you are doing, if you are doing narrative inquiry, what kind of question are you going to ask in order to interview the students?
Like what, how, and why that can cover their life experience.
Yeah, but it must be different from the case study. Yeah, case study also use that kind of questions. That's question perhaps. So, no, I mean, the question should be different, yeah, um from case study. Uh, Even though they are more or less similar, very similar. I mean, but they, I mean, in terms of narrative inquiry, has a very unique or specific difference in the way you ask the questions, or in a different in terms of the question that you are going to ask. Narrative, so meaning that there is at least it contain the sense of the sense of what do you call it, narration. Yeah, the sense of narration should be present in your investigation. So that's why the investigation or the questions uh, should start from the, I mean, should take the form of like the chronological order. So you can start from perhaps how they use a certain platform, and and it will go to from for example, at the beginning until the end, or from the simple one until the most complicated one in terms of the platform, in terms of the activity perhaps, yeah. So then at the end, when you really use kind of the chronology, I mean ask the question in terms of the chronology that how this happened, how learning happens, self-directed learning happens. Now that could become the narration of the way how they use digital platform in self-directed learning, English learning, yeah. Now it is very different from a case study. If you are doing case study and you are doing in interview, you focus only a very specific event, yeah. It is not like the narration, yeah. It is really about the topic or some problems, some ideas under the focus of investigation. So they might have a few ideas, and the ideas are separated one another, even though they are perhaps related one another, but the way you investigate them are separately, things like that. So meanwhile, in narrative inquiry, you have to really start from the beginning at the end, meaning that, for example, if let's say if they are using let's say social media like Facebook, for example. So in narrative, so you can start from when, for example, they start to use Facebook, and when they start Facebook, when they start using Facebook for English language learning, for example, that, and what activities, yeah, that they use to experience that really impress their learning. I mean, they got impressed with learning language there that happened taking place in the environment of Facebook, yeah. And what Facebook, how they built the networks of Facebook and so on like that. So with friends, yeah, and friends and so on like that. So there is a narration, yeah, about how someone is using Facebook from the beginning to up to this point, for example, like that. So what I mean is that in terms of the chronology, narrative inquiry should be directed like this, ya. Harus benar-benar diarahkan seperti itu, seperti cerita kan dari awal sampai akhir. Tetapi kalau case study, it must focus on certain topic or certain ideas that really become the focal uh, the focal investigation, the focal point of your investigation. Okay, now that's you should clarify in the definition of narrative inquiry. Okay, now research participant, who are your? Do you have already any planning to have? Who are your object of your investigation?
Yes, sir. Actually,
Hmm.
I have uh, some consideration to apa ya untuk memilih partisipan saya, sir. Ada beberapa kandidatnya gitu, sir.
Do you have any criteria?
Yes, sir. I
So
explained
what are
in.
they? What are the criteria for you to include, you know, or to make that person become your target of investigation? Do you have?
So, yes, sir.
Yes.
First is based on his or her willingness to participate, and then also the IPK score or the GPA score that indicate that this student is the outstanding student that has perhaps intermediate level of English, and then she also she or he also have to use the digital platform, various digital platform that can support his or her self-directed English language learning, sir.
Hmm. Did you explain in your proposal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right then. Okay, so let's check once again data collection. You are using observation. What do you mean by observation?
So in the observation, I would like to collect. I would like to list the digital platform and also the account that she or her use in the in their account in digital platform, sir.
I mean, uh, when you do, it is very hard to observe someone doing self-directed learning. I'm curious, how are you going to do that? So observe means that you are watching them.
No, sir. I just want to collect the type of digital platform used by the participant and also the
Yeah,
user
yeah.
account
How are you going to collect them?
by asking them, sir.
Asking is not observation. Observation means that you observe. So observe means you watch, you see that they are doing something. For example, when they are working on with the computer, yeah, or with their gadgets, then you are watching them playing around with their gadgets or digital platforms. So that's observation. When you come to, for example, ask them something, how they use this digital platform, then it is not considered as observation. It is interview. I think it's not, unless, for example, you mean by, what's that? Observation is observing their uh, digital traces, ya. Misalkan jejak digital, gitu. Misalkan dia punya Facebook, Instagram, and so on, social media application, ya. Nah, kamu menelusuri ya semua aktivitas dia yang terjadi di Facebook, di IG misalkan, atau di TikTok, atau di YouTube, and so on like that, and you want to know how much that person really engage and use the app, the platform for their learning. Itu namanya observation. Jadi bisa begitu. Ini kalau itu yang you maksud, berarti harus menjelaskan itu, ya, bahwa yang dimaksud dengan observation di sini adalah mengobserve, ya, the digital traces, ya. Trace, mentrace kata kita kan. Jadi menelusuri jejak-jejak digital yang ada di akun-akun apa yang kita sedang interview. Okay, interview. Alright, you should format this. Okay, I think this one you can think of once more about the preparation. I mean the interview question, later, after you really think about what I have said, before, as your recommendation or correction. Kalau bukan correction, mungkin ide-ide tadi yang sudah saya sampaikan. Misalkan kalau kita mau menggunakan narrative inquiry, so the question is, different from if you are doing case study, because in narrative inquiry you investigate something chronologically. Ya. Jadi kan berarti apa itu the interview should be formatted or should be reordered in terms of the chronological order. Oke, kalau ininya sudah oke ya, Anda apa nih introduction. This is the way how you are doing the interview. It is good that you have the introduction, tapi nanti ini harus ada seperti interview sheets ya, interview sheet, so then you can prepare ya. This is the interview like interview guideline ya. Jadi nanti akan dipakai ketika kamu sedang ingin interview, jadi tinggal dibacakan saja sebagai apa standarisasi apa tuh standarisasi interview questions. Tapi kalau karena ini in semi structured, jadi tidak boleh juga benar-benar strict ya. Semi structured itu hanya melist ya pertanyaan-pertanyaan induknya saja. Nanti the detail more detailed question can be add up uh, in the middle of the interview. Yeah, if you think that you need to investigate more certain thing, when the interviewee respond your question and you want to have more information about certain thing, then you can ask more question. Ya. Itu semi interview, semi structured. Kalau yang structured ya benar-benar you cannot ask other question. Ya. Then uh, only the listed questions that you have prepared before you start the interview. Data analysis, this is thematic analysis, yeah. Triangulation. I don't know what you mean by triangulation here. Do you know?
So I would like to use triangulation if for example, in the interview, the participant forgot to mention what a certain digital platform. So in the observation, they she or he has mentioned digital platform that they see or he didn't mention in interview. So data triangulation I will use to check or to cross check and compare the finding from the interview data and data observation, sir. Just to cross check, sir.
Yeah. So you triangulate mean that you use other kinds of data, yeah,
Yes, sir.
to prove that your claim in another way that your claim is correct or true in terms of the data. Okay, I think that's basically this, and your reference is okay unless this one, yeah. Well, I don't know why it is. Um, what's that? Capital, yeah. So capital. Okay, I think that's really is, yeah, for this. Do you have any question before we stop it?
Yes, sir. So before you mentioned that I should emphasize in metacognitive, cognitive, and social affective. So in the interview, I should say include them in my interview, sir, or
Uh, yeah, because your research question covers what's that self-directed learning strategies. So all strategies should be asked, yeah, should be investigated. Yeah. From the, I mean, using the conversation, I mean, the interview perhaps like that. Yeah.
Sir, can I ask another
Yeah,
question?
sure.
So I just want to make sure, does my interview question really udah benar atau belum gitu, Sir? Secara format.
The format is okay, perhaps. Just the question need to. I mean, I need to explore more. Wait a minute. Let me check once again. Uh, it's like this. You have to fix. There is a question first. As what questions are used in order to answer question number one? For example, like this, the question, please tell us about your background of your internet, blah, blah, blah. Please tell me the factors that led you, blah, blah, blah. How was your experience in learning English through subject learning? Please tell me what learning resources you need to, blah, blah, blah. Now, I think these questions are too general, yeah, are not directed to your research question. Bear in mind, so that's why I said from the very beginning that you have to understand your topics. Yeah, your topic is your title is you are going to investigate how the student using digital platforms, yeah, for their learning English. Yeah, so you have to be asking directly asking the student, how the student use digital platform for learning English. You can start, for example, a little question like, what do you think about your English, or do you learn English independently, and so on like that. This is just kind of to warming up the situation. Yeah, you can start to have the question like that, like this, yeah, that not really directed to your research questions, but do not take too much because it will change the focus, or you will spend too much time, yeah, on the opening or warming up questions. You have to quickly ask the question related to your topics. Yeah? Your keyword here is using digital platform for learning English. That's number one. The second one is self-directed learning. As I said, if they use, for example, their mobile for learning English, then that's your finding. They use mobile phone application, Android application, for example, to practice speaking, for example, like that. So that's your data, because that's really using digital platform for English learning, language learning. And the second one, you need to clarify how and why, or in what way you you use, for example, the Android application for practicing speaking. If you find out that the student do these activities because the lectures or because the teacher asked them to do, then you don't consider that activity, that information to become your data, because that's not your focus of your research. If I see your question, I think that's too far away, not too far away, but it is not the focus of your research. Kalau misalkan, let me tell you, please tell me what learning resource you use to support your self-directed learning in improving your English language skills. Nah, ini kan apa? Learning resource, sis. Ini kan cara umum sekali. Jadi kalau dia bercerita tentang Dia belajar dengan buku, misalkan dia belajar dengan kartu dan sebagainya, itu kan bukan fokus Anda. Kecuali kalau Anda penelitiannya hanya language learning, self-directed language learning. Nah, kalau itu ya ini bisa masuk. Itu pertanyaan ini. Kalau fokusnya sekali lagi self-directed learning, misalkan self-directed English language learning, maka dia masuk. Teknologi pun bisa. Karena self-directed bisa menggunakan teknologi. Dengan menggunakan teknologi. Tapi self-directed language learning tidak harus selalu dengan menggunakan teknologi. Tetapi karena riset kamu adalah sebenarnya fokusnya adalah digital platform, how the student use digital platform for self-directed language learning, maka your focus is only all all activities that are related to learning English using digital platform, something like that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. All right. I think that's all. If you don't have more question, ya. Saya kira meeting sekarang satu orang aja ya, because I have another work to do ya. Tapi hari apa? Besok ya. Besok
Kamis, sir. Kamis, sir.
hari Kamis ya. Hari Kamis gilirannya siapa?
Phoebe,
Saya